Hello and welcome back to lesson 33, where we're going to continue on making the hair. We're going to put the hair now on the front and down the back. So we're going to bring in a curve circle, so that's Shift A, curve, and then on the circle. We're just going to reposition this on the x-axis, as our 3D cursor was not centered in the middle, but that's okay. You can press N and then realign and center it. As you can always put the 3D cursor back in the center by pressing Shift S, as long as you're on an object to select. Then we're going to press Shift A again and bring in a path. And we're going to bring in the path, rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis, and then scale that down on the z-axis. This is the piece of hair that we are going to also use. So just like before, we're going to select the path, go over to the curve properties, click on object, click the drop down pipette, and then select the circle. From here we're just going to move the circle, and I'm just going to place it in position so it's a better view for you to see. So in edit mode we are going to select all and right click and subdivide, so to create more handles. Then we'll press V and then go to free. So again we're going to go around the circle and we're going to start moving the handles around to make a different type of hair. As you can see, you can go as far as you can go, but we're going to stretch this and make it more oval kind of shape. And as you can see, it's not matching exactly what we have on the right, but that's not to worry. I'm going to go back into object mode. This is just for personal preference. You don't need to do this. This is just so you can have a better view on how it is forming. So I've just rotated that, so as you can see on the right hand side is affecting the right hand side of the shape. So we are going to now move the handles into position and move them all the way around and just play about with it to get the hair to look the way we want it. I want to keep it one nice and flat and then rotate that 90 degrees on the Z axis, as we will be placing this along the face and down the front. It's going to be a bit like a bit of a fringe, and then coming down behind the ear, and then all the hair for the back of the head. We're not going to do long hair for the back of the head. It's just going to be short enough to make it look like there's hair there. We may edit it later on, because what I want to do is from the ponytail, we want to bring a ponytail down on top of the head where the hair is connected at the back of the head, as you see. So putting it into the position on the front of the head and doing as we have done in the previous video, and then selecting our vertexes and then Shift D and duplicate that and place that into position just like so. There's a lot of footage I've cut out because it's just a lot of rinse and repeat. We're doing exactly how we have been doing it on the previous video. So press Alt S to scale if you need, and Control T to rotate. I want to mirror this and position the origin into place. So I put the origin into place, go to Mirror Modifier and selected Mirror. Realizing that, oh no, it's not mirroring correctly on the x-axis when it should be. This is because the position of the hair when we brought it in was not on 0, 0, and the rotation, as you can see in the top right panel, is on 90 degrees on the y-axis, which we do not want that. So the best way to fix this is to select the object, Control A, and then go to All Transform. That will reset the transforms, and it will make your hair even better. This will also help with if you have any artifacts or any mesh geometry issues as well. We may have to just go over and play about with the hair and put it back into position. It's always good to mirror it at the beginning before starting the hair so you can get a better accurate placing on where you want to put it. But for this purpose, that's not too bad, because all the hair is the same, using the same circular curve with the detail on, which we are going to go over and just replace on the back of the head. So as we're just placing this on the back of the head, just using the gizmo transform tool, just making the curves, making the hair curly at the bottom. I wanted to make it a little bit different as well. After I've done a bunch of hair, I have selected them. As you can see, it's pretty high poly, but that's okay. We will lower that down later on. So I have selected different types, different bits of the hair, and just duplicated and layer it on top. You can do it by hand, one at a time, if you'd prefer. But to speed this up just a little bit more, I have duplicated each strand and then placed and pushed it in. This is because later on we will merge these together, and we will probably just run it over maybe with the sculpt tool to give it a little bit more in detail. Make things a bit smoother, and might have to straighten out some bits of the hair as well. This would help as well for rigging later on, as we will use different bones. We won't be using bones in every strand of hair, that'll just be too many bones, but we will be using some bones for the back of the head, for the ponytail and the front of the head, as I will go over that on a later lesson. Okay, so we are just tidying that up, and now we're going to move on to the braided hair. Now, bearing in mind, we have selected the braided hair along the path bezier, so we want to be moving and selecting the braided curve bezier, the path, in order to place that where we want, just like the previous hair we've been doing, as long as the curve modifier is attached to the braided hair. If you can't remember how to do this, I did show it on the previous video. You just might need to go back and check if you wish, or you can just bring in a path and attach it to your braided hair. If you do need to duplicate your braided hair, don't panic. You can click on it and then array it to increase or decrease the amounts of arrays of how many counts you wish to use. In the meantime, we can go back to the path. We can put this into place, and we can always put it around the head, as you can see, quite nicely like this, and use Control T to rotate, and then just grab the vertices to place in position. This is absolutely a fantastic way of dealing and using this technique for stylized hair, because you can create all sorts of different types of hair. You can be incredibly creative. I've seen some artists do some amazing, incredible hairstyles just using this specific technique in Blender, which is fantastic. It's brilliant for if you're wanting to rig the model as well, for like hair flow, and using it for like physics for any sort of game or platform that you might be using it for. So I will have this braided hair going all the way around, and in just a moment I will now add a mirror modifier, just like that. If it doesn't place in the center, don't worry, just press Control A and then reset the transforms, and then continue on placing your braided hair into position. So I just want this coming around the top of the hair like so, and then just pressing Control T and just rotating it as you do. And as we are placing this into position, it doesn't have to be super accurate unless this is the final piece of hair you wish to use for your project. If not, we can always convert this to mesh and then go over it with the sculpt tools. We will also lower the topology of the braided hair and the curves, so we can have a bit more less topology basically when we do rig it, because we don't want it to be super high poly. So I will show you how to do that in the next lesson as well. So I just want to line up the back of the braided hair, where the line from the top of the head and the back of the hair, as you can see. So looking at some images online, just seeing how braided hair is sitting naturally on the head. I put it up a little higher than normal, but I think for now this is a very good bot to stop the video, and we will continue the lesson in the next video. Thanks for watching.